When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, as always, Colleen Biggs, and today I am doing this episode single, by myself, alone, without a guest. I have had the opportunity to do several workshops with the clerks departments here in the city of Mesa, as well as the city of Tucson. And in both of those workshops, I've taught servant leadership. And so today we're going to dive into how you can become a better leader. So there's going to be one thing probably that you might recognize is an area that you can grow as a leader. At least that is my hope for this episode today. But before we get to that, I do want to thank our sponsor of today's show, Peaceful Living. Why do we allow stress to compound in our lives, affecting our sleep and our daily rituals? The truth is, we all live with stress, but imagine what it would feel like to not suffer from stress. Are you ready to feel better, sleep better, and change your overall relationship with tension? Peaceful Living can help you bring more peaceful moments into your day. Peaceful Living offers simple tools, live stream and on-demand classes, and a customized self-care success plan. Imagine if you had simple ways to slow down and restore your energy without taking big chunks of time away from your schedule. We know it's possible. We're here to help, and founder Roberta Hughes will be your guide each step of the way. Visit Peaceful Living online and begin your journey with a free membership. Use code LEAP to receive your first month for free. And we have all of that right there at your fingertips so that you can access Peaceful Living. I do a lot of her online on-demand classes. I know my husband and I love the yin yoga. So I highly recommend becoming part of that community. It's such a very small price to pay every month. I think it's $36 to have access to meditations, yoga, Pilates, whatever it is that you're looking for right there at your fingertips. Okay, now I want to get into the 6 traits of a successful leader. So when I say define a great leader, what words come to mind for you? So I know right now you're thinking of some words that define great leadership. You might say honesty or character or vision or integrity. And some of those words I mentioned are actually 5 traits that define great leadership based on research in a servant heart. And trait number 1 is honesty. So ask yourself, how important is it that those that are leading me are honest with me, as well as those that I'm leading, that I'm honest with them? And I have found that the more authentic we can be, the more honest we are in who we are, how we show up, how we portray ourselves. So I love that, because you're not really hiding anything. You're extremely honest with those that you lead, and the people that are leading you are honest with you. The second trait of a great leader is forward thinking. This is someone who has vision. If you don't have a vision and you're not enrolling others in that vision, then how is it that we are able to get people to follow us? It's really pretty impossible. I think about all the great leaders back in the day, and you know, with March being celebrating Women's History Month, it's so important for us to think about what was the forward thinking that these individual women had when they came together to really fight for, let's say, just our voting rights, something as simple as that. Women weren't allowed to vote at one point, and now we are, which we're getting into voting season. March is International History, Women's History Month, as well as on the 8th is International Women's Month. So thinking about forward thinking, if we're not looking at the future and the impact that we can make and the change we're looking to create, then you don't really have anything for someone to be inspired by. There's nothing for them to be enrolled into. So you having that vision is what creates that enrollment. And people ask me all the time, why is it so easy for you to fill events in person or, get people enrolled in the things that you do? And I said, I think it's because I make it about them and I'm forward thinking on the benefits that they get from being part of the vision that I've created for them. So just something to think about when you're thinking about yourself. Am I a great leader? The next trait is inspiring. Motivation needs to come from the inside, meaning we need to motivate ourselves. Motive and 8, right? Action. We need to have a motive to take action. That's really what motivate means. We need to have a motive. So if you want to become healthier, if you want to get better sleep, whatever that might look like, if you want to lose weight, you have to be motivated by a bigger why. And so do people that are following you. They need to be motivated by a bigger why. You need to inspire them to want to take action. And inspiring keeps people, connected to you, enrolled in what you're talking about. And when you couple that with the honesty and the vision, now they're inspired by the vision and they want to jump on that train because let's use the LEAP community as an example. I'm telling them that the LEAP community is going to give them more visibility, which it does through podcast recordings, newsletter blasts that we do for them. They have so many opportunities to be seen with blogs. We have over 4 million impressions in our website. So being able to have a blog on our website, being able to show up at conferences or events to collaborate and network with other women, to be able to teach master classes, do member spotlights live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook. There's so many areas that we put women in the spotlight. So it's inspiring for them because they're inspired by my honesty on delivering exactly what I say they're going to get, my forward thinking on putting together emails and ways that they can take one interview and turn it into 5 impressions on Google SEO. And it's inspiring to them because I truly am doing what I do so that women can be financially independent. I do believe ever since, I left my house at 17, I knew I was going to have to be financially independent for the rest of my life. And that has created choices for me, meaning when I was in a relationship, I wanted to be in the relationship. I didn't have to be in the relationship financially because I needed the other person's money. I could financially stand on my own. So those choices have given me a path in my life where I never felt stuck in anything because financially I could pull myself out of anything that I was in. So my husband taught me something. He said, if money can solve it, it's not a problem. And I was like, that is the simplest thing I've ever heard. And it is absolutely true. If money can solve it, it's not a problem. When I think about my good friends and her husband, Mike, which is also our good friend suffering from stage 4 cancer, they've thrown a lot of money at his healthcare and at his treatments. And money is not solving the problem. In this case. So think about that in your life. Or is there something you're worried about or something you think is just this big deal, but really it's not, because if money can fix it, it can go away. So just think about that as we are going down this rabbit hole that I've just taken you down of a conversation. Let's get back to our traits of our leaders. So trait number 4, competent. Is the person that's leading you competent? Do you feel comfortable that this person is going to be able to lead you? Do you feel that you can trust in them, right? Because they're honest and you trust them. They're inspiring. They have a vision, and competently you believe they can get you there. I'm sure all of the women that were part of the group, and I can't remember their names right now, that were pulling for our voting rights, I guarantee you they each felt the other was competent to be able to take that on to get us where we are today. 30 years ago, we couldn't even sign a mortgage for a house. And I think back at all the homes I've owned since 1990 in Arizona. And I just couldn't imagine that women wouldn't be able to own a home without a man's signature. It kind of makes me laugh, but that's where we were at one point. We couldn't get loans or anything like that. So are you competent? Do you are you learning? So if learning is beneath you, then I will tell you leadership is beyond you for dang sure. I say it all the time. To be competent, you need to constantly be learning and have the knowledge, which leads us to trait number 5, which is intelligent. You need to understand and have the knowing that those that are following you trust you. You've enrolled them because of your vision. You've inspired them to jump on the train. They know you're competent and you're the person that can lead them because you're intelligent and you continue learning constantly. I think that's key. And I remember Adina Friedman she was a NASDAQ CEO, and she said, empowering those around you to be heard and valued makes the difference between a leader who simply instructs and one who inspires. So even as an entrepreneur, if you're not in corporate America, are you inspiring those around you? And are you empowering those around you to be heard and be valued? It's why I created the Empower and Elevate conferences that I do every March and every November. If you haven't gotten your ticket, be sure to jump on our website at empowerandelevateconference.com. You can go to colleenbiggs.net. But I created these conferences to empower the women in the room. Now, I didn't need to be the one empowering every single one of them. All I did was, as the leader, the competency of putting together the conference. They trust me. They're enrolled in my bigger vision of what this conference looks like. And then when they're in the room, the women that are around them are empowering them through business resources, through knowledge, through kindness. They're empowering them through motivation, through inspiration. And when they listen and we allow women to be heard, like have a vendor table and we have them come up on the stage and talk about who they are. We have panels that are going to share their experiences and give advice. We have speakers that are going to educate us and motivate us and inspire us. You're empowering women around you by doing that. And what you do makes a difference. You're not just instructing someone and telling them what to do like we would a child, right? When we're telling them how to ride a bike, that's instructing them. Instead, people want to be empowered. And the way to do that is to inspire them and to give them knowledge and the resources they need so they can make the choice on their own next time. Dolly Parton also said, if your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. And I would say that you are a servant leader. If you are inspiring others to do more and become more, they are inspired and they want to do more. And I often share the story of Batman at this point. And I say, servant leaders are like superheroes. And people say, why is that? And I say, because they bring out your best. They empower you to make decisions. And I loved I always get into debates on who's the best Batman. And I like Ben Affleck a lot as Batman. I've heard Val Kilmer, we've gone through all of them. And I'm like, no, that I felt like this was the worst Batman or the best Batman or whatever it was. But when you are a servant leader, and why I like Batman is because even though Superman was amazing, he was an alien, right? So when I think of Iron Man, when I think of Batman, they weren't born with any special powers. They literally had to create um additional items to help them fight crime, right? So Iron Man had a suit. Batman had created the cars he drives, the motorcycles, the bat wings that he throws at people. He has all these contraptions that he uses because underneath his outfit, he's just a regular guy. He doesn't have any powers like Superman, where, if you punched him, it would hurt him. Superman wouldn't get hurt. So how can you become that superhero as a servant leader where you're just a regular person, but because of the tribe you create, because of the opportunities and platforms you create for people, because of the community you construct, your social circle, your social capital, are you depositing into other people? Are you empowering others to make decisions? Are you nurturing the people that are around you? And are you always learning and growing? So you need to bring out your best so that you can bring out the best in others. And, the very old traditional way that this leadership used to operate is really top down, right? So CEO, then you've got, your executive team, and then somewhere in between there, you finally get to your middle management, and then you get to your frontline workers, and then your customers are the ones mainly working with your frontline customers, and the responsiveness goes up the triangle because it's based on the front line and the customers, but yet the communication comes from the top down. So it's very archaic and old. So if you were to flip that around, your customers really should be your number one goal of who you're nurturing and taking care of, and that your leadership team should really be part of helping you be able to, as we talked about in that servant leadership, empower, bring out the best in you, and give you the knowledge that you need. So I have this, I wanted to show you, I have this servant leadership triangle. So if you go to YouTube and look up Colleen Biggs, you can see that I'm showing that. And on the servant leadership triangle that's been created here, it really starts with your intention. So if you have an intention to do something, but you take zero action on that intention, I'll give you a great example that everyone knows. I intend to leave my job at corporate America and start my own business, but you do nothing. So that is nothing. It's empty. So you had an intention, but you did nothing with it, so it's empty. That does not create a good leader, because that's a cry wolfer. That's someone who says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. They set New Year's resolutions every year, and within a month, they are done and they've given up and they've quit. No one wants to follow a leader or be like a person that quits all the time. So by standing by your word, you say, here's my intention. And then action aligns with that intention, which equals will. So you show other people, I have the will, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And I will tell you that I lie very heavily on that. If I give somebody my word, I'm sticking to that word. In fact, last night I was just voted in as a leader on our HOA board in our community, and this was the first time that it's turned over from being ran by our affiliate and our builder to resident owned. So I'm very excited to be able to be on the first board that is running here in our community. And I will tell you, my intentions are to be there for the people, to listen, to understand what it is that they need, to keep them engaged. That's the goal of this community, is to keep everybody engaged. And my actions will reflect what I said I will do. And so everybody knows, yep, Colleen will do that, because we've trusted her. We've watched her word against what she said she's going to do, and she always takes action in those areas. So once you have that will, you then have a choice. And the choice really comes down to, am I going to love the people that surround me? Am I going to love my community members? Am I going to love the women in my LEAP community? Am I going to love my clients? And when I'm talking love, I'm not talking touchy feely. I'm talking love, like respect and listening to people and understanding them and showing them you care by saying thank you, sending thank you cards. I send gifts, thank you cards, sometimes just tiny little things like a you are awesome, excuse me, card in a gratitude card, right? And I mail it to their house. What does that cost me? 50 some cents or 60 some cents, whatever stamps are these days. And that doesn't cost a lot of money or time to say thank you to someone or text someone or leave them a message on their social media feed. So how are you showing that you really love people, and not making it all about you, but making it about them? And when you make it about other people, you're sacrificing time that you would have had for yourself. You're sacrificing something by giving to other people. And how many of you, and I would say by a raise of hands, but we're not in a room, would say that other people, other people that it's all about them. They don't sacrifice anything for anyone else. They are number one. They make it number one. It's all about them. And I don't really become friends with those individuals, and I don't hang out with them because I don't feel like they serve or sacrifice for anyone. They're all about themselves. And so, you're not going to get a lot of fulfillment from that friendship with those people. But when you serve and you sacrifice for others and you're giving to them constantly, it builds influence. And that's really what I've done over my career. Is I love the women that I work with. I love my community. And even a simple email that I would send out says that I think about each one of them every day. I pray for them. I pray for their success and their health, and the service and the sacrifice of what I give for my community is crazy, and it builds influence. So it builds loyalty. It builds empowerment. And when you become that influencer within a group of individuals, you then get to earn leadership. It's not a title that you just threw on your business card because someone said you're being promoted. And that's the biggest problem I see in corporate America is someone's so good at what they do, but then they're promoted and they were good at what they did. They're not necessarily good at managing people. But yeah, we automatically assume that overnight they turn into a superhero because that's their title and now they're really good at it. And it's kind of a joke because they're not, and you're not. You have to go up the triangle. You have got to go up the triangle. And I will get a download and attach it to this podcast so you can download the servant leadership triangle. But I will tell you this. You have to earn being a servant leader through your intentions plus your actions that equal will. That is a choice. And when you choose to love others around you, it requires sacrifice because you must serve those individuals to build that influence. And once you've built that influence, then and only then do you really earn leadership. So that's really what I wanted to have a conversation with you about today. I hope that in this you learned something about yourself. I usually end with saying focusing on the people takes care of the numbers. Focus on the people. If you're worried that you're not making enough money in your business, start focusing on the people around you. Focus on the people that already know you. Stop reaching so far out with your net and look at who is already in your circle that you can nurture, that you can reach out to. Network marketing, it's one of the first things they say is reach out to family and friends. And I think it's one of the same things when we're talking about nurturing the people around you. Are you so worried about getting new individuals to see all of your stuff that you've forgotten about the individuals that are already there? And everyone knows in marketing and proven strategies that the people that are there that have already spent money with you once are most likely to spend money with you again. So start with serving and sacrificing some of your time to build that influence, to become that servant leader that you will be identified with and that others will identify you with in your community. So those are my words for today. You're the only you that's ever been. Okay, you're the only you that's ever going to be. Do you want to be a servant leader? Do you want to be the best leader you could possibly be? By stepping into this type of leadership, you naturally will have people enrolled, want to follow you, be inspired by you, and sign up for the things that you produce. So it will make growing a business so much easier for you. So how are you going to design this leadership part of your life? It doesn't happen by default. It does take work. So how much work are you willing to put into becoming a servant leadership today? Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much. Don't forget to go get your download. We'll have a link below. I love doing this show every single week and bringing you guests. And thank you for listening to me today and learning a little bit more about some traits of a great leader. And I hope you take one of those away with you today on how you can become a servant leader yourself. That's all for today. Bye-bye for now. Until next time, be you and be strong.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.